My name is Hala Edquist. I'm originally from Mountain Grove, Missouri, but I am a crop science and animal science major here at Missouri State, and I have the opportunity of doing an animal science internship feeding cows for Lincoln Huff. So Lincoln has two farms. He has a main farm that he owns, and he just bought a new one between like Fairgrove and Pleasant Hope, so that's a new one, and then he rents 3 other places. So in total, I feed at about 5 different farms total. So it's a lot of driving. It takes about 3 hours, but I enjoy every minute of it, feeding in the farm truck. I was a little bit nervous coming to calving season because I was like, well, if I have to pull a calf, I can, but he's got calving-ease bulls, so no worries there. But I love seeing those little babies hit the ground, writing them down. I was like, okay, are you a bull or a heifer, and who your mama is, what date it is. So I love keeping records and definitely seeing those little babies hit the ground in the spring. So. He gets wet brewer's grain from the distillery in downtown Springfield. So what they do for that brewery is they take all the carbohydrates and some of the starch out of those grains, and so it's still wet when it's brought to us in those 100-gallon barrels. So I mean, there's still a lot of fiber and a little bit of protein in it, but we lose a lot of like the carbohydrates and the starch, so there's not as much energy in it, but it's great to finish animals on. So we get that, we feed that to some heifers, some other cows, and definitely for our feeder steers. So, yeah. When I called Lincoln one day and I said, hey, do you need somebody to feed cows for you while you're in session? And he said, I've never had a woman work for me, or any girl. And so he called some people and he's like, so what is it like having a girl feed for you? And they're like, oh, it's 10 times better, because they actually pay attention and they think before they do something. So at that point, I had to live up to that statement. Being a woman in ag, I think we have that attention to detail that maybe men might neglect now and again, but I love that part. And the fact that he had faith in me that I could do this job and drive a 1-ton big farm truck every day with 2 bales on and work a do easy remote, all that kind of good stuff. So I am thankful that he has faith in me that I can do this, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. There's anywhere from 30 to 50 cows at every farm. So that times 5 is about 250. So if I do the math correctly, there's about 250. And then he's got some heifers that we've kept back for replacements. So there's about 20 of those as well. So it's a growing operation for sure. And just commercial Black Angus. He's got some Herefords and some Baldy crosses. So it's a good combination of everything. So Mondays and Wednesdays I have a class at 12:15, or I get out at 12:15, and then I have to come back for a 6 p.m. class. And so I try to feed right in there, which is about 3 hours. But there's one farm that I get stuck at because I have a huge truck and it's so heavy. So there's days on Wednesdays usually that I get stuck in the middle of the week. I have to call Lincoln's dad to come pull me out. So that's been a challenge, trying to make it back to that 6 o'clock class and make it back in the evenings for like Farm Bureau meetings or cattlemen's meetings or stuff like that. Between Fairgrove and Missouri State University, it's about 25 minutes, and you have to count in traffic every day. So that's been difficult to make my life balance and make sure I get cows fed and allow about 4 hours to do that. I love feeding cows. That's always been something that I've loved. I grew up on a dairy farm, so in dairy operations, feeding cows is your top priority because you have to have lots of milk, good milk production. So having this opportunity to feed cows is very satisfying. When I roll out a bale of hay and see all those cows come to that hay, it's satisfying, as well as just taking the grain out of the grain box and feeding it in the bunks. To see all of them come and just start eating, it's very satisfying. I've always loved to feed cows, and to be able to do this, kind of have a little bit of a job that's not necessarily in the classroom, so have that break between being in the classroom as well as getting hands-on experience is so much fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything, so.